Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. Now today I'm going to be staying in the UK and completing part 2 of my British United Nations Halal Menu 2 peacekeeping ration. Today I'm going to look at their lunch and dinner components. So let's get them on a tray and see what they look and taste like. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of this British Halal United Nations 24-hour ration. And to save a little bit of time, I already went through what the contents were in part 1. If you didn't see that, please go back and check out part 1. So I've saved a little bit of time. I'm just going to go straight ahead with the lunch items. So for lunch, out of this very extensive ration, I've chose to have a coffee. I'm going to look at the mushroom soup. We have a chicken curry and rice. There is some dried raspberry fruit, some choco-block chocolate. We have some of the condiments here. We have a hot sauce and a curry powder, and gum and a wet nap should we need it. So first things we're going to need to do is we're going to need to start preparing some of the hot drinks. I've already had the rice boiling and the curry boiling for about 15 minutes. Get it nice and piping hot. So I'm going to start off with the usual. I'm going to start off with the coffees and the drinks. Now, as I said in part 1, I've been looking around some of the manufacturers of these items, and it's certainly an international mix. Just on this table here we have the sugar, the coffee, all of the condiments, which is the chili powder, curry powder and the hot sauce, and even the chewing gum are made in China. The mushroom soup is made in France. The curry and rice is from Thailand, and the UK have made the chocolate block and the raspberry dried fruit. So it's a very international effort. So this is coffee made in China, so it's not a usual brand. So it is just a medium looking roast, large granules. So there is a sugar in there and a whitener. So I'm making a white coffee, how I like it. And just using the handle of the big British Army spork, I shall just give that a little stir. And I'll just give it a little over half a mug, give it its best chance of flavour. A little bit of over half a mug there. The next thing I'm going to do is have a look at the mushroom soup. This is mushroom soup, and it's made from France. It says had 20 decilitres, so about 200 millilitres of hot water. So as a best guess, that would be again about half of a mug. So this is a mushroom soup. It's a typical sort of cup of soup, instant soup, and we should follow the instructions and give it approximately half a mugful of water. Not too much, you can always add, but you can never take away. If it's too thick, you can quite easily add some more to it. Okay, give it a good old mix. No cold drink I'm having this time, so I'm just going to have because I've got 2 hot items, I'm just going to have some water. All troops carry water as a palate cleanser. Just need to wipe my spoon again. And moving on round, I'm just going to open the dried fruit mix. Now it says this is dried raspberries, so just bring in a friend just to open that there, and we shall just pour some of those out. They're little cubes, little square cubes. That's about half of the packet. I'll just leave the other half there. We also have this choco-block. Now I've looked down the ingredients. I think in the UK you have to have a minimum of 20% cocoa to be called chocolate. This has nowhere near that, so I think it has around about 5 or 10%. So it's a choco block, not a block of chocolate. I don't think they can legally call it chocolate if it has such a low content of cocoa, but it is a 9 cube piece. We have here something that's very unusual for most British rations. That is a packet of curry powder. Again, this is made in China, so mild curry powder. I'm just going to take the top off that, the corner. You can already see it's a little orange coloured powder there. We also have a hot sauce, a liquid hot sauce. Now I'm going to leave that to one side. I'll just take the corner off. I didn't know. Just see if I can just nip that corner up. So there's a little hot sauce, again made in China. We'll open the gum. So it says just a pack of gum. I think it feels like there's about six little briquettes in there. It's a sea-level packet, so you could just have some, put the rest back in your pocket. So standard briquettes, there is 6. I should just get one out for now. And we have a wet nap on standby as we need it. So now we're down to the other items. We have a white rice, which I should just put in the bowl first. So it's very hot, been boiling 15 minutes. Rice has to be piping hot. So we'll just keep that separate. Oh, it's a very nice loose rice. It's not sticky rice. It's very loose. Just needs breaking up where it's been in the packet, but it's a nice loose grain. Put it to one side, and I'm going to put the curry sauce, chicken curry. So this is chicken curry, both made in Thailand, and I shall put that to the side. Hopefully get it all in one bowl. So it's made a very large meal there. So it's almost like a Thai red chicken curry. So mix that up a little bit. So where do I start? I suppose I'm going to start where I normally like to start. Start with the coffee. So it's a medium looking roast. It's a mid-range. It's not bitter. There's no bitterness there at all. That's sugar. It's took all the bitterness out. It's a reasonably cheap tasting instant. It's not a quality instant, but I have had worse. It's a medium sort of instant flavour. Middle roast. Certainly drinkable. Certainly a taste of home, taste of coffee that you're used to. Just not top notch quality, but that said, not bottom grade either. It's a middle of the road, decent instant. Let's have another look now at this soup. This is mushroom soup. Very basic flavours. It has thickened. There's not a lot of flavour going in there. You can taste the mushroom slightly. It's creamy. It's like a cream of mushroom soup, but it doesn't in any way feel like a natural cream. It's thick. It's slightly mushroom flavoured. Again, like the coffee, it's a recognisable for what it is. It's a mushroom soup, just not the absolute best quality out there, but not the worst either. It's a sort of middle of the road. It's drinkable, it's edible, it's just not the highest quality. I've just got to refresh my palate. Now, think I'm going to go, because my spoon has already been in the curry, excuse me, I'm going to go straight for the curry first. Oh, some food gone down the wrong pipe there. So this is a chicken curry, and it's sort of orange in colour. I can see a little bit of what's probably red bell pepper and chicken chunks. It's quite mild. Very delicate. It's very sweet. It's a sweet curry. Chicken is stringy. It's very stringy. I've just actually pulled out a piece of string out of my mouth. I don't want to show you something out of my mouth, but I've just pulled out, I don't think that's skin, I think that's actually string. I don't know if you can see that. I just nearly swallowed that. There's a piece of packaging string of something. That's not filled me full of confidence. Let's put that in the bin. Very nearly swallowed that. I don't think that was a skin off a pepper. So I'll keep going. There was another piece there. There's another little piece there. It could be a bit of skin off a pepper, but if it is, it's very, very stringy. Very stringy. So back to the chicken. There's lots and lots of chicken in there. Sweet, not spicy. I've tasted the rice. The rice is loose grained. Basic white rice. No over seasoning. Very mild. Extremely mild. I can see why they added the curry powder. So I'm going to add some more of the curry powder and sprinkle it in. We are used to quite hot curries here in the UK. We have a very high Asian population. There is Indian takeaways, Asian takeaways all over the place. So we are used to quite hot curries. So let's just try some more. Now I've had that curry powder. That's certainly given it a lift. It's extremely sweet, which I find unusual for a curry, but it is tasty. I'll need to add even more of that curry powder. The curry powder itself isn't that spicy either, so quite a lot of curry powder gone in there now. It's not the hottest curry powder. The chicken is very stringy, as you can see, very stringy. That's better with the rice. Very filling. I think I'm going to try some of the hot sauce on the rice. So I'm going to just give it a couple of little sprinkles. I don't know if you can see there, the hot sauce is a light cream in colour. Mix that in. There was a vinegar style taste to that. A little bit of kick, not a lot. Neither of these spices were excessively hot. I'm going to add some to the curry itself. I think the hot sauce might have been a better option to kill down some of that sweetness, because it is a vinegar. I'm trying to get this right. It's not in any means an unpleasant taste. I'm just trying to get the right level of fire that I'm used to here in the UK. Dropping it everywhere. That's helped. I could still add more hot sauce and curry powder. They're not the hottest of either. Maybe the chili powder is hotter. The mushroom soup is certainly thickened up, and with the flavours of the curry seems to have more flavour. So I'm going to move on round. I am going to come back and finish that. I'm not sure. Still, there's another piece. Let's fish them out. I'm not sure if that is string or whether it is just a piece of skin off a chili, off a pepper, but it is very, very, very tough. Very tough. So let's have a look at some of these raspberry grains. Supposed to be dried raspberries, but it looks like it's been cubed. Very much like a jelly or a gummy, you might call it in the US, but it's very soft, not natural flavoured. It claims to be made with natural raspberries, but it doesn't seem like it as you eat it. It's more like a jelly, gummy, fruit, but it is nice. It's sweet. A little bit of sweetness to walk along into your mouth as you need it. Now the choco block, so it's not chocolate, it's a choco block, dark chocolate looking, 9 cubes, quite soft. There's a lot of sugar in there. You shouldn't be able to feel sugar crystals within chocolate, but you can in this. It's a cheap chocolate flavoured confection. It does melt like chocolate on your tongue. It's very soft. Sugar crystals. It reminds me of those extremely cheap Christmas decorations you get. The chocolate pennies that you stick on Christmas trees, the little chocolate Santas you get from the pound store, or maybe in the US the dollar store. So it's that very cheap flavoured chocolate. It is, again, a flavour of chocolate, just not the best quality one out there, not by any means. I suppose you could put some cubes into the coffee to make a mocha. That might be a good way of using it up. I'm going to have a look at these little wet naps straight away, and for knowing from experience, these are not the usual British ORP standard, which usually have a large cloth style nap. These are the little paper sort of naps you see in a lot of the other rations. Not very moist, not very wet. Wouldn't take dirt off your hands, I'd say. But it does, if you got a little bit of sticky, bit of curry on your fingers, it will take the curry off. But not, it wouldn't thoroughly clean a troop's hands if he's been dirty. And finally the gum. Crispy shell, soft centre, medium sort of strength. Again, 2 or 3 briquettes in your mouth would help clean your breath. After a curry, maybe a little bit more mint oil would help, but again, like many of the items in here, it's not bad, it's just middle of the road, not ultra quality, but then again, it's not so bad that you wouldn't eat or drink it. So, overall, a very filling lunch, probably not the best quality out there, but certainly eatable. So join me in a moment for the evening meal or supper. And welcome back to this exceptionally large Halal British Army United Nations 24-hour ration. This is what I consider for their evening meal. It's pretty much what is left. It's a large meal. There was an extensive amount of food in this pack and there's still a lot of sundries left over, but what is left for the evening meal is some cola flavoured sweets. There is a drinking chocolate, there is a large packet of cheese, there is a fruit flavoured cold drink. The mains actually are tuna chili pasta. There is also here some vegetables with lentils. There is 2 types of biscuits. We have an oat biscuit and ginger biscuits. We also have some jam, and condiments we've still not tried is the chili powder and the tomato sauce. So very large, very heavy meal. So I think I'm going to start where I normally like to start, is with the drinks, and I'm going to go for, first off, the chocolate drinking powder, drinking chocolate powder. So again, written in all the different languages. This is actually produced in the Czech Republic. So it's taken a while to come out for some reason, but it is. It only requires 200 millilitres of water, so it's not a large mug like the normal British Army. They're 500 millilitres, but it is a standard sort of drinking chocolate. And we'll just, using the handle of the very large spork, and that is because it's difficult to get the bowl into there, we shall give it, again, about half a mug, just slightly over, which is about 200 millilitres or so of boiling water, hot water. That's that. Stirred in very nice, very easily. I'm going to now move on to the fruit flavoured drinks powder. It doesn't actually say what fruit. On the back it gives information for pineapple flavour and lime, so whether it's a combination of pineapple and lime, and they've just called it fruit. Again, this is the 500 millilitre quantity, which is the size of a British Army mug, or half of a canteen. So this is about a 380 glass, so we'll give it the majority but not quite all of the powder, so it gets to taste how it should. That's something like that. There's a little bit left in the bottom there, and this one will just bring in the cold water. Mix it in. This is an energy drink, contains a lot of sugar. It's not just a cold drink, it's actually energy, so it's sugar based. Takes a little bit more stirring. Okay, that should do for that one. Now I'm going to move along and start cracking open, just move that out of the way, cracking open some of the little sundry items. Now this is the cheese spread. It's a very large cheese. It feels like it's twice the quantity in there as the regular US MRE cheese spread. Just have a look, see if it can, any mention of the country of origin. It is made in the US, so it is US cheese spread. Sorry about the delay, it takes a little while to read through all the languages. So this is the same US cheese spread, just a larger packet. And we'll just bring in the knife. It's made in Georgia, USA. Moving around, I'm going to have a look at the cola flavoured sweets. So it's a nice resealable packet. And I think most people who watch ration reviews have seen these before in the British rations. They're little cola flavoured candies, gummies, jellies, and that's just a small portion of that large packet. I should have put the others out of the way here. Moving around, we have an oat biscuit. And I think this one's made in the UK. Yeah, this is made in the UK, and it's the old oats block, which has been in the British ORPs for a long time. We also have a pack of ginger biscuits, again made in the UK, and it is 5 of the ginger biscuits. So we've got oats, plain oats, 5 ginger. We also have some jam. This particular one is plum jam. There is an extensive amount of food in this ration, a ridiculous amount for 24 hours. Clearly would last far longer than 24 hours. Now we're getting close to the mains, but I'm just going to open this tomato sauce just in the corner so I can use it when we're ready. And because I've opened in the previous menu the curry powder and the hot sauce. I've got a packet of chili powder this time, so I'm just going to open the corner of the chili powder. Plenty of seasonings. The hot sauce and the curry powder wasn't that particularly strong, so hopefully the chili powder's got a bit more heat to it. Now I'm going to open the tuna chili pasta. Now it did say ready to eat. These tuna pastas, they're a strange thing I've had before. Sometimes you're better off warming them up, sometimes not. I have warmed this up, so hopefully that was the right way to go. So a very large portion of pasta there, and tuna. And now last but not least, we've got this vegetables with lentils. Again, this is just boiling with the tuna pasta. They've had about 10 to 15 minutes boiling, and I'll just put it in this bowl here. Little small side portion. Very hot. Let's just get all this out. Very hot, very hot. So that is the contents of this supper meal. So I'm going to start where I normally like to start, and that is with the drinking chocolate, the drinks. So it just looks like a standard sort of drinking chocolate. It is. It's sweet, it's tasty. It's quite strong. There's a lot of sugar in there. I personally think you could get away with adding a bit more water than what it was suggesting. It's very, very sweet. Obviously this ration is designed for some countries where there's a real high need of sugar, because there is 8 packets of sugar, and it was saying add sugar to half of the contents like this, and it's still sweet without it. So that is, it's sweet, it's tasty, chocolatey, not the regular British Army chocolate, but still a good comforting chocolatey drink. It's a nice quality one. There is the fruit. I think that is pineapple in there. I can taste pineapple, and there's a little bit of sourness, so perhaps it is pineapple and lime. That's tasty. Again, it's got a bit of a sharpness to it. It's sweet initially, and then as you swallow you get a sharp hint. So it's a nice combination of sharp and sweet. Very refreshing, very nice energy drink. So I think I'm now going to start on the mains. Let's give this round a little bit of a move around. So this is tuna in chili pasta. So it already has some chili. I have more chili on standby. So little pasta spirals. Nice smell emanating from there. Plenty of salt, plenty of pepper. Tomato based sauce, pasta sauce. You can see bell peppers in there. Some sort of beans or peas. Some carrots. I think they're carrots there as well. So there is a few vegetables mixed in. It's soft. It's tasty. It's very, very flavoursome. Tuna. It's typical canned style tuna, tinned tuna. But plenty of it. A little bit dry. So there is some beans there. We see some little green beans. So there is vegetables in there. Slightly acidic, slight vinegar hint. Very tasty. Not a lot of chili. So chili powder. Let's just. Again, you get various grades of chili powder. Some can be mild, some can be exceptionally hot. So I'll just start with a little bit first. A little bit of that chili powder, a little extra. Just wait for the kick in. As you know, chili doesn't hit straight away. It just takes a few seconds to Fire up. Again, not that hot. I do have some chili powder at home, which that small amount would be enough for a huge saucepan of food, given to me by a friend from work, an Indian friend, who apparently parents grow the chili in India and they ship it over to dried spice. It's very, very hot. This is very, very mild. Again, disappointing with the strengths of these hot seasonings. I haven't got an extremely high tolerance of heat, so it's not like I'm one of the people that do actually like it burn in your mouth, but I have got a reasonable sort of tolerance, and these are taking quite a lot, so those condiments are not the hottest. That's a little better. I had to put quite a lot of that chili powder in to get that, but it's tasty. It's got a little bit of fire. There's a nice tomato based sauce. It is a nice enjoyable meal. A little bit of chocolate there, and we'll follow that up with a little refreshing mouth cleanser. Now, pasta and tomato, cheese goes with, so let me just have a look. A little squirt of the cheese on its own. It is. It's the USMRE cheese, exactly the same, which is a nice flavoured cheese. Obviously totally artificial and plastic, but it is nice flavoured. I do enjoy. So I'm going to add a little bit to the pasta. Cheese in tomato pasta for me is always a winner. Perfect. And with that little bit of extra chili I put in there, it almost makes that like the jalapeno cheese spread. So cheese goes great in the meal. I'm going to swap over now and look at the lentils with vegetables as a small side portion. So let's have a little taste of those. Again, very basic flavours. It's salted and it's peppered, but there's very little else going on in there. But there is vegetables, there is some lentils. It is nice. It's very similar tasting to the Russian rations. They always have something like the vegetable caviar, the zucchini caviar. Very similar tasting to that, but that is usually blended smooth. This still has a few little lumps in it. So it's very much like the Russian caviar. Again, I'm going to add a little bit of chili. I've not bought the black pepper, but there is a large pack of black pepper. This might actually benefit from the black pepper more, but I've left that in the bag. Let's try that with a little bit of the chili powder. Again, not the hottest, but it does add a little extra flavour. See how it goes with the pasta, so a little bit of the lentils and pasta. They do mix together well, although they're both a lot. It's a large meal, both mixed together. I suppose it's a good way of getting a few extra vegetables in with a pasta dish. So both dishes are filling and nourishing. Clean my palate there. Have a look at these cola bottles. So little bottles of jelly, cola bottles, jellies. They're soft. I think most countries you can get a similar sort of candy or jelly which is cola flavoured. It is that typical artificial cola, sweet cola flavour. It's also the flavour when you get the cola drinks in the British ORPs, the cola, it tastes just like those. They are good. They're not overly chewy, nice and soft. A great little morale booster. If you're in the hand, pop them into your mouth as you're walking along. Nice little bit of extra sweetness. Likewise, ginger biscuits. Little tiny, there was 5 little biscuits. This is the second packet. There was 5 oat biscuits, sweet oat biscuits before. Same sort of idea. Nice taste of ginger, not overly powering. In the UK we do have ginger biscuits called ginger nuts. They are very similar tasting. Anyone in the UK will know what ginger nuts are. These are reminiscent of that. I'm dropping crumbs everywhere. Good quality, just not so much ginger, but it is a nice tasting ginger. You could dunk them into coffee, try some in the nice dunking biscuit, dunk well. Nice quality biscuits. Keep going. Oh, keep going. It's a huge meal. Far more than what you need for 24 hours with all 3. This is the oat biscuit. Sorry, these used to be called the oat blocks. Been in the British ORPs for many years. Just a compressed block of sweet oats. It's sweet, so I wouldn't want to put the cheese on it. The cheese I think would be better off going into the pasta dishes and into the mains. So I'm losing it. I'm going to try a bit of the plum jam. Plum jam on some oat biscuits. Little bit of extra sweetness. Nice tasting jam. You can taste the plum, very much like the strawberry jam. It's more liquid than set, but it's done nicely. Wouldn't normally on ginger, but because I can, try some on the ginger biscuit. Surprisingly, it does go well. I wouldn't have thought plum and ginger, but it does. So you could put it on all of them, make an extra sweet treat. Well, very large meal, very large amount of content. This is pretty much the food content for that ration, but the accessory pack is still stuffed with extra teas, coffees, whiteners, sugars, the tissues. There is an extra hot sauce, so there is still plenty accessories left over. Far too many for me to be able to use in this review. So overall, I think because of the size of it, they've reduced the quality. They've shipped out for different countries all over the world, where normally the British ORP, nearly all the contents are made in the UK, apart from the few items which come from the US, like the cheese spread. In this ration, I think because of the size, they have gone international to ship out. That unfortunately has had slightly lesser quality, but everything was still tasty, enjoyable, filling, and so much more than 24 hours worth of food in this pack. So that was the contents of the 24-hour combat ration Halal British menu number 2. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button for future videos coming very soon. So thank you and goodbye.